Good afternoon. I am Carlos Mayo, and today I will be talking to you about my research paper, which title is Describing the Use of Requests in the Year 6 Classroom. I selected this topic due to the different ways I could perceive as students use requests or ask for permission when they are in the classroom. I will be talking about the introduction of my research paper, the problem of the research paper, the theoretical framework, the method I applied, the results, and of course, the conclusion. Okay, before starting talking about this topic, it's really important to say that second language acquisition has been one of the most one of the most studied field during the last year, and this is because the necessity people have felt to communicate with other people in other languages. But when we talk about language or communication, we have to understand that communication is more than learning sounds, learning words, learning vocabulary, learning how to pronounce words. We have to go beyond. We have to know how people use language, how people behave in different contexts, and why people use a specific expression, specific ways of communication when they are with different people. And it's for that reason that we have to take into account one of the most important approach, or could say methodology, to research the way people use language. And this is the ethnography of speaking or ethnography of communication. According to Holmes, the ethnography of communication or the ethnography of speaking is an approach to analyzing language which has been designed to heighten awareness of culture-bound assumptions. It analyzes the way people use language in different contexts. So through this approach, we are going to try to understand the students or the way students use to communicate in a real context. The problem. Well, it's known that during the years, many people have tried to learn a foreign language, but we have to try to pay attention on how the second language or foreign language has been taught during the years. Okay, this study is done with the purpose of describing the different ways students in second language environment used to make requests in order to comprehend in which situation they are more polite and provide them with new information about the importance of using politeness in the classroom. Okay, the research was applied in the British school, which is an international school, and it was located in Caracas, and it works with an international curriculum. In this case, in this opportunity, I was focused on trying to understand, taking in, the way students use request in a specific moments and depending on the person who they talk to. The theoretical framework. Well, we have to know that when we refer to requests, we are talking about speech acts. And the speech acts, according to Van Herk, 2012, are present in a conversation when people offer, apologize, greet, request, complain, compliment, refuse, or make an invitation. And as other kind of issues related to language, the speech acts and especially the request has been studied by many researchers or scholars. Among them, I can mention Arayanti and Frigiani, 2020, that made a study titled Teacher and Students Politeness, Strategies in the EFL Classroom Interaction. In this study, they try to explore the use of politeness strategies which occur in the EFL classroom interaction in a senior high school. The study was applied a descriptive qualitative research design to explore the politeness strategy used by the teacher and the students in their interactions. The participants in this study were an English teacher and 30 students. The findings show that there were a total of 13 excerpts containing 3 politeness strategies: positive politeness strategy, negative politeness strategy, and ball and record strategy. The other research was made by Cristianto 2020, who in his research titled Speech Acts in EFL, he tried to understand or to explain or to find out and analyze the types of speech acts which were performed by teachers and students in English as a foreign language classroom. It was a qualitative research because the data that they collected was from their teaching and learning activities in naturalistic environment in English classroom. The subjects of this research were teachers and students in real environment English classroom. The results show that there were 3 types of speech acts found in the interaction between the teacher and the student, namely locutionary act, illocutionary act, and perlocutionary act. The third work, or the third research, was made by Reyes Fabiola, who also wrote an article titled Politeness Requests in the Classroom, Mixing and Pragmatic Instruction. This is an article, and it's an article report on a classroom experience related to the teaching of English requests with modal verbs in a beginning ESL grammar class. The structure of the student request during and after instruction was examined, and also the teachability and effectiveness of explicit pragmatics in the grammar classroom was explored. A student request followed by politeness parameters given, and those features that seem problematic at first seem to improve. Therefore, we conclude, or they conclude, that the explicit instruction on pragmatics was relevant. This research was applied in a class of 5th level in the English Language Institute, University of South Florida. The participants were 14 of the 15 students enrolled in the course. The method. Okay, the approach used in my research was the ethnography of communication with a qualitative approach. This wasn't a qualitative research because I have to collect the data through the observation in a real context. The participant were 10 students from year 6 at the British School, Caracas. This classroom is conformed by 13 students, but the day when I went to make the observation, only 10 students were attending the class. It's really important to know that most of these students has been living abroad and has been exposed to English in other countries or exposed to other languages. The instrument I used was direct observation, and the procedure was that the students were observed during some lessons in a natural context. The observation was taken in three parts. The first part was in a IPC class where the students were observed for 25 minutes, an English class where I could observe two activities they made during 25 minutes. And the last observation was made at the end of the class when the students were leaving to dismissal. We're going to have dismissal. The results. Well, according to the different observations I made, the results I got were the following. According to the student from year 6 use more the modal verb can when they want to ask for something in the classroom. Just a few students use politeness when talking to the teacher and other classmates. The students try to put expressions like sorry, excuse me, or pardon in order to be more polite. The few students who use politeness were those students who lived out of the country, who studied in different schools. So the student who don't have contact with or who have not lived out of the country are those who keep using can. However, those students who have lived abroad, when they use can, they try to use another expression, for example, sorry, excuse me, in order to be more polite with the other people. Conclusions. The use of politeness when making requests needs to be strengthened in the classroom so that the student can handle the language properly in different contexts. It is really important to give a student all the tools they need for learning how to use requests and let understand why speaking in a polite way can highlight their utterances. Here we have the references. Cristiano, Fitriani, Holmes, Urwita, Reyes, Van Herk, and Water. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you had enjoyed this presentation.